Hello and welcome to day 13 of my Just Ship It challenge stream. Yeah. As always, let's start with my Twitter thing where we are telling the whole world that I'm online and maybe, a few of you actually come and spend some time with me, which I really enjoy if a few people are here and chat with me and we can reflect together on the progress that I made on my tool and on this adventure of making my first product, right? I've never made a product. Well, my workshops are probably a product. I try to I try to see it as that, but it's also a service, right? It's very dependent on my time and very dependent that I'm doing those workshops. So the product is a little bit detached. It's an asynchronous thing, right? So it's different. And I developed a couple of tools actually, but I never productized tools. And so this is really my first dip into that sphere of understanding how to market something and do it and get customers and everything. And yeah, I'm really early, day 13. So that is that. Anyway, let's start with screen sharing my wonderful Twitter process thing. Quickly have to get my Twitter over here. Twitter sphere, right? And I'm gonna share because it's amazing to see how I do it. I still haven't tweeted anything else. Then I should do more. I'm not the best Twitter person. I have scheduled, I think, one tweet in my life because I wanted to see how scheduling tweets works. But more or less, I always, if I want to grab my thing here, I always grab parts of my screen and completely screw up my layout. I'm sorry for that. But I just wanted to have you over here so that I can actually see if somebody chats to me. So day 13. And I actually have to really think about it because, to be honest, I'm hopping on those streams just without any preparation whatsoever. And it's the only way I can do it. I mean, there is no time left and I don't want to dedicate time to prepare for this stream because there are so many things going on. And actually what I did before coming on this stream, just the last second before, turning Streamlabs on to start, was working on my podcast because every second Tuesday, I'm releasing a podcast. And today I'm actually a little bit late because normally I do it sort of in the morning hours. I'm releasing the podcast and I haven't released it today because there were a few things that were missing. And then I also felt like if I'm not working on the tool in the morning, like the podcast takes all the time there is, right? It's like this time eating thing. So you can spend so much time doing the podcast and then you make the website and you make the transcripts and everything. So I thought, well, if I'm doing it in the morning, I know exactly it will take the whole morning until I have to pick up the kids from kindergarten, and I will not do it. So I spend the time on the tool, which is really good. So I can actually tell you something about the tool and that I made some progress. But the bad thing is that I wasn't really able to completely finish the podcast. So before I hopped on this stream, there was actually the podcast. It's open here. And I was actually even thinking if I should do a little bit of podcast work on the stream, show you a little bit how that works. But let's discuss this. And so, so now we have to think together what actually happens today. And actually that happened, right? So I completely neglected my podcast and worked on the tool. So it's a good day for the tool thread. It's a bad day for the podcast thread. But on Sunday, I did it the other way around, right? Sunday was mostly the podcast thing and the tool was a little bit neglected. But yeah, so I had the podcast already ready, but there's a lot of things surrounding the podcast. And so sometimes I forget about that because I feel like, oh, the podcast is already edited and ready to release. And so on Tuesdays, what I normally only do, that's a trap, right? It's the only trap. What I only do is I create a new post on my website for it, right? On my podcast website. I'm writing a little summary of what happened. I'm putting a picture there from the person, and actually today I didn't have a good picture, so I had to wait also until the guest actually sent me a picture. And then I'm putting show note links there. Yeah, it sounds trivial, but it takes actually quite some time. And then I have to do the same thing on the platform that hosts my podcast. So in total, it really takes a long time normally. And the more time I have, the nicer I do it. The more I write about the episode and everything. So I'm not busy enough. Yeah, exactly, right? There's always enough time for this, right? So today I didn't spend anything on it. So we have to do it later after this stream or with the stream. I don't know if you're interested in seeing this. So what should I write about day 13? What a good summary. Today I made good progress and created a few graphics based graphics visualizing. It's one of those words that I am really often typing wrongly. Visualizing. Time, size, and participation. Patient rate. In code reviews. Views. I'm still fairly unfamiliar. Fairly is actually really an understatement. I'm still super unfamiliar with D3, but somehow I managed. So that's actually the truth, right? It's not fairly unfamiliar. I'm super unfamiliar. And actually, like, I had a little breakdown in the morning times. I was like, oh my God, D3 will break me. But somehow the graphs are there. After this, a few minutes of crying, it worked out. I'm still super unfamiliar with D3. Let's put D3JS so that they know that today was a really hard day for me. But somehow I managed. Now reflecting on my day on Twitch. Like, if people wouldn't know by now, right? Twitch, come join me. I mean, who wants to join me knows probably already that I'm join. Come join me. So, and then we put the link there because it's nice just to help people find the link. And you can do the same in code reviews. Put something in the description so that people don't have to go and look it up. So, is that a good summary? I think this is a good summary. Today I made good progress and created a few graphic visualizing time, size, and participation rate in code reviews. I'm still super unfamiliar with these three, but somehow I managed. Now reflecting, yeah, so maybe a few people will join or not. Okay, I'm not clicking this one. I try to teach myself that I don't have to, I can resist impulses somehow. Anyway, so yeah, let's reflect what we can actually do on this stream. Yesterday I was showing a little bit how I struggle with these three. I'm not gonna do that today. I struggled enough in the morning. But yeah, maybe I show you a few visualizations. It's super early. They're not very pretty, and you see I'm actually debugging here. But yeah, this is how it looks like. It's a time perspective trend thing, and then I have like a participation. I actually forgot how it's called. Oh, here. Let's copy the whole URL. Yeah, these are somehow participation. So it's not pretty, I know, but at least there are the graphs, and actually the data behind is rendered automatically. So you're just you're telling the tool which thing to look at, which repro and which data, and then it generates the JSON files and then the JSON files are consumed by this thing. So this is what it does. It doesn't do a lot, but I'm actually quite happy. And there were maybe to tell you a little bit what some of the problems that I had today. The problems were mainly because I'm completely unfamiliar with D3, right? So I just started D3 with this project, and I'm just trying not to drown in it and work with it. But I had a few graphs actually already running last week, or I don't know, 3 days ago or 4 days ago. I forgot a little bit the time frame. But today I realized that actually some of the graphs are working with version 3 and some of them are working with version 4 of D3, and they're not compatible. And so today I actually had to recreate the bar chart, the group bar chart, which was really nice, and probably was the most sophisticated of the things that I created before. So that was, maybe this was the time that I cried a little bit. No, I didn't cry, but I wasn't really happy either. And then this chaining of methods is really hard for me. It's really not the way that I'm used to work or to work with the languages that I'm normally working. Well, this was a horrible sentence. But yeah, I tried not to give up, and somehow got it working. It's not the nicest, and I think it's okay for now. So I was also, and I really have a hard time because I really like clean code, and I really like to do, I'm a big advocate of best practices and engineering or design patterns and things like that. And so if I'm just copying code over and trying to make it work and things like that, so somehow this messes a little bit with my head, with my the side of myself that wants to have it perfect, right? And that wants to have it like modular and that you can reuse it. And so obviously I cleaned the code a little bit, but it's quite a quite interesting state, let's put it that way, especially the front end. The back end is actually very nice. I put quite some work in there. But there I also know what I'm doing, right? In the front end, it's a little bit different here with D3. And so I was in this state that I thought, how much should I actually spend now making the code really nice, and I really have to restrict myself because I don't even know the graphs, are they useful or not. And this comes back to, I don't know, what was it, day 2 or day 3, right, where I'm thinking, well, I can create a lot of different graphs, and actually I'm creating quite a few different graphs, and I will also show them to maybe for the same data I will show you 2 or 3 different graphs, and I will work with the people that are interested in my tool to see what actually the best graph is, right? But this also means that a lot of the code will actually be thrown away. And for many of the things, I don't have a clear understanding. So I really feel that I'm prototyping right now. And so because I'm prototyping, I don't think I should spend so much time now making the code really nice, right? I mean, I'm a one-person show as well, right? Like there is not another person that can take over the marketing or can take over, the research behind it, or can take over talking with customers. And so I really have to balance a little bit where I spend my time. And I really try to get better with that. Like before, when I was an employee, you had just not one role. Obviously you have a lot of roles, but not everything is your focus. And to be honest, I was always very researchy and very much in the prototyping scheme as well, but never in the, is there a market, or, are people paying for it or something like that. That was not something that I was aware of or very concerned with. Obviously, if engineering teams don't like what I'm doing, this is, so there was some element of it that when I was working, for example, with at Microsoft, I had like the engineering teams, like Office was sort of a customer from me, right? So if they're interested in what I'm doing, that's good. They want more of what I'm doing. If they're not interested, they would actually cut cut the ties with my team or with me as a person, right? Because they didn't have like a contract, or they didn't have to work with me. It was more like, if I can provide them with interesting data and can give them some benefits for the engineering teams, then they would work with me. So in that respect, I have some experience with that, but on the other hand, it's not a free market, right? It's not that it's different. I think it's definitely different than, now there's a lot of opportunity, right? You're in a large organization and there are other teams, and you're just running into another person during lunch, or you're like having a lot of meetings also, where you can present and can talk and connect and network with people. And now I think, especially with this pandemic, everything is a little bit different, because while I'm sitting here, right, somewhere in this world, probably very far away from where most of the interested parties are, and somehow you have to convey the message over there, what you're doing. And so it's definitely a very, very different challenge. It's much more challenging. It's it's very, very different. And so this is the reason why I'm deciding to focus and thread a little bit less about how the code actually looks right now. I mean, it's not horrible, right? It runs and things like that, but I could do so much more, right? I could really have a nice architecture, and I'm really trying not to do that right now. I don't think I'm spending the time that I have right if I will do it. Make it work, make it right, make it fast. Yeah, exactly. Kent Beck. That's a good one. Yeah, and so this is what I'm struggling a little bit, because on one hand I really would like to clean it up and make it nicer. There's this one side of me, and the other side says, well, make something and then iterate over it, and really, I think, be very close to the customers that you have and make it useful is still what I would like to do. Yeah. So this is more or less my update for today. I have those 3 perspectives for now. Maybe I'm showing you a little bit. I mean, there's the reports it's in a very early state, right? But I have like this the time perspective, and you see this is the old graph. Actually, this is the one that works with version 3. So I'm going to replace that, because this one wasn't compatible with my other graphs that I had, like if you're comparing it with this one. Let me see. With this one, right? So this is the version 4 graph, and so those are also all version 4 graphs, and so I'm going to use that one. There's actually a version 5 of these 3, but I thought, well, probably I find more information right now on version 4, so this is another decision that I made, a quick one. Oh, you don't see it. Good. I actually didn't change my screen, but well. You said cheap, fast, or good, quick, pick any 2. Yeah, this is that it's the trade-off thing, right? The triangle of trade-offs. Yeah, that's true. Cheap, fast, or good. Yeah, very tricky one. What would I pick, right? Good, I think good is important. So probably fast and good. And I would leave out the cheap, but how that actually works, I don't know how I'm gonna do that. I mean, it's, yeah. Well, so I talked a lot. I don't know. Do you want to see how I do the podcast? Is that interesting to you? Actually, I streamed a couple of times. I streamed a little bit about the podcast. But yeah, I haven't streamed the podcasting production for quite some time. So this is actually Audacity. It's the tool that I actually use for podcasting production. It's not the only tool. I have a couple of tools, but especially for the last pits. And there's some, I mean, it's already cutted and everything. So what we have to do is I have to actually put the end here. Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Cool. It's nice that you're listening to it. And there are like endings. I have always the same ending, which is nice. This is for the, sometimes I make like these really small pieces of the podcast. But this is the podcast ending. So let's put it here, and then we have to put it to the very end. Something like this. Yeah, we don't see exactly And then we have to listen to it. If the sound level is sort of the same. What does he say?
Yeah, wonderful. Okay, bye-bye. Bye-bye. I hope you enjoyed another...
Okay. I have to put that a little bit closer.
Yeah, wonderful. Okay, bye-bye. Bye-bye. I hope you enjoyed another episode of the Software Engineering Unlocked podcast. Okay, bye-bye. Bye-bye. I hope you enjoyed another episode of the Software Engineering Unlocked podcast. Bye-bye. I hope you enjoyed another episode of the Software Engineering Unlocked podcast. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll talk to you again in 2 weeks. Bye.
And then we have to just change here a little bit. This is a little bit too loud. Oh, could actually do a little bit less. Something like that. I don't know.
Again in 2 weeks. Bye.
Sounds good. And actually, I did the introduction already. We just have to see if the level of the music is okay, because this is really loud all the time.
Hello and welcome to the Software Engineering Unlocked podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Michaela, and today I have the pleasure to talk to Diana Mounter. But before code review tool I always wanted to work on. Remember when I said I want to do it and there is just no time? Well, I made time. There's no time. I will link my email in Director of Design Infrastructure at GitHub. Diana traveled the world.
Sounds good. I think it's done. And now we have to export it. No, what's Auphonic? I don't even know it. What's Auphonic? I have to look at this. Yeah. One of the things that I'm working with and it's really nice is the Descript app. I don't know if you have heard of that one. Oh, no, this is wrong. Diana Mounter. And this is 28, I think. 2020. Okay. So, and then we can go, let me see, too many things, open. Let me click this link that you just sent me to see what that is. Auphonic. Automatic audio post-production web service for podcasts and radio shows, movies, screencasts, and more. Okay, what does it do? We use AI-based audio algorithms to achieve a professional quality result. Okay, that sounds really cool. Balanced levels between speaker, music, speech, no compressor knowledge. You know what? One of the things that I was actually thinking about, I mean, there's the code review tool and I'm gonna definitely do that, but I'm also thinking about other software products that I could actually build. And one of the things that I hate when I'm doing my podcast, so I'm using actually Descript. I don't know if you've seen Descript, but Descript is also really cool because what it allows you is to edit your podcast while you're reading. So this one, for example, let's open this one. Like this is Descript, which is really nice. I can recommend it. I don't have enough space anymore. I'm running out of space always. So okay, this is Sunday Panda, but let me have a look. Oh, there is. Oh yeah, we could actually do that. Let's have a look. But yeah, one step after the other. So this is, for example, one of the 10 transcripts, right? And you can now edit this text just by editing or adding the audio wave just by editing the text, right? And this is really cool. I think before because I was really editing the whole podcast with this one, but it's really hard because I try to remove the ums and ams, not everything, but if it's really, sometimes it gets annoying and I don't want the listeners to get annoyed, right? So I really put some time into the editing process. And so if you have like a and you listen to it, you really have to understand, okay, where does it start? Where does it end, right? And then zoom in and zoom out. And so and then especially if you're zoomed in and you start play, then it goes so fast that you're missing the position. So it's quite some work to do that with Audacity. And so this is really nice with this tool because you can, you see the words and you can, you know where you are. And so it's much easier to know where you have to do the work. But one of the things that I hate very much is that, so what I'm also doing, because I'm recording, for example, with 2 tracks, like for example, for this one, this is ending. So Diana Mounter, if you look at that one, right? So I just recorded her. Then we have like I have 2 tracks, right? Her talking and me talking. And then you have to imagine that for Audacity, it would look like this is her and then this is me, right? So it's a little bit like we have here at the beginning, right? Like this. But here, especially down there would be still a little bit of my or her audio. And you would, for example, hear her, moving in her chair or moving. I'm not very still sitting person, right? So I'm moving a lot. And so I haven't found a tool, for example, Descript doesn't do it, that just detects those places and mutes them completely, because I don't need them. They have to, actually what should be done is they should be muted completely, and I haven't found a tool that does that. Maybe this is something that tool can do, like phonic. I actually thought I should just, because it's so annoying and I'm spending so much time, I should just work out something. Multi-track featuring automatic ducking, noise gate, and crosstalk spill removal. So I think this is probably something that it does, right? It does noise and hum reduction. Okay, that's cool. But maybe it does something like this as well, right? Multi-track algorithms. That sounds interesting. Very cool. Yeah, I should definitely look at that. Thank you so much. This I calculated this weekend again and thought about, how much will it take me to just write this piece of software that it detects when there's actually the wave is almost not existent and the other wave is really high. So you have to look at the differences, right? And just mute that completely. How long would it take me to write that compared with how much do I spend, just manually removing that? And I calculated that for every podcast, which a podcast is normally 1 hour of recording, right? I'm probably spending 15 minutes, like with everything, like you're making a mistake and, I'm getting a little bit distracted and things like that. 15 minutes for every podcast, for every hour podcast. I'm just doing this, that I'm not anything else, just trying to find those almost empty episodes and then deleting them completely, leveling them down. And also, one of the things that you have to do is, like, if there's like some small things in it, like I say yes or no or some of them you want to keep and some of them you don't want to keep, right? So this is probably what also takes quite some time. So, well, thank you so much for that. Hasn't Audacity a noise gate filtering? Well, there is something, yeah. You can, for example, you can create a noise profile, right? So for example, this one, this is now without anything, but normally what I do for every podcast, I start with 10 seconds of silence, and then I would take that 10 seconds of silence and create a noise profile and then run that over. But that doesn't really help so much. It's just, I tried a lot with different values and also increasing this, but it doesn't really help with these parts of, maybe I show you what I mean. I can actually, let's open a new one and, create a new one. And then we can just have a look at it, right? So for example, those two. My computer gets a little bit slow because I'm running out of space and I haven't spent the time removing the files, because if you're creating podcasts and videos and all of that, somehow my hard drives are not made for that. So do you see this? So and you see they actually nicely overline. So I think that if you do that, even you don't have to have like a lot of intelligence there or no AI or something. You just see that they're actually overlining. But here, maybe I'm overdoing it, right? But what I normally do is I completely remove the noises that you can see here, right? And sometimes I'm moving my chair or something. See, you see them, and they are not going away if you having this noise or this one, right? If you're doing the noise reduction algorithm here in Audacity, that's not working good enough. I mean, this podcast was actually quite okay because I didn't do too much, and my guest was also quite stable in their chair. But there are others, like if you're drinking or, you know, sometimes I write something down because I have an idea what I should ask. And you can hear all of that. And so, yeah. And so here somewhere, these are the 10 seconds of silence that I normally take. But you see here, in the 10 seconds of silence, there's actually not so much happening. And sometimes I try to, you know, make a little bit of noise. But the algorithm behind is not super sophisticated. So it just reduces the whole thing quite a bit. Anyway. No, I don't want to close that. So, but I show you something else, but what is actually cool. Because now we actually mounter, I have to see which one I just created. Where did I save that? I exported it somewhere and I exported, I think, to the wrong, in Audacity. Yeah, it went wrong. Okay, so let's get it from there. Music, Audacity or something. Where did I have that? Oh, I have to look again. Export. Where is that? Documents. Okay. Downloads, documents. Where are documents? There are documents. Audacity. There she is. Okay. Let's put her in the right folder and then I show you something cool. This is a really cool tool. It's called Descript, and we make a new project. And then I'm gonna now, let's close this one. I'm gonna, no, this is the wrong one. This one, ready. So, and now we can transcribe them. And so we say to speakers, say transcribe, and now it will do its magic. And then we can listen to it, and then we can actually, see the whole transcript. And I try to provide my transcripts, but they are okay. You will see, especially if I'm talking, because I'm not a native speaker. There's a lot of gibberish that comes out of it. And so I spent some time improving them, especially at the beginning. Try to improve the beginning, but then it really takes too much time to do all of the transcripts and do them all in the right thing. And so I actually have them on GitHub, and people can help me. And this works actually really nice now with the Hacktober challenge. So I will show you a little bit here as well. And I will upload this new one, more or less. So it's a pre-release transcript. So that's cool. But let's do something else useful while we are at it, to not lose too much time. I told you that I have to go to so many different things to do something. So we have now to sign in, and we have to actually, I'm hosting my thing with Simplecast. And so we have to create a new episode and then upload it here. And then we also have to do the same thing on my podcast website. So we have to create a new post. I show you how I do it, what I do it. So it runs actually with WordPress. I'm a big WordPress fan. So let's do a new one. I don't have actually a title for it yet. Episode 28. We call it Diana Mounter, but actually that's not a good title, so we have to think about something. So those things normally take the most time, that I don't know exactly how I should call it. And then we edit it with Elementor. I have a few already made things here. So I have a few templates here that I can actually use. Postcard header with image is what we want to insert. And so, and then I actually didn't have a picture today from Diana. And so this was also why everything was a little bit later. Let's go here and then we say Diana. Okay. Yeah, sometimes I'm thinking, like, especially for those things, it would be so cool if the podcast would bring in something. Sometimes I'm thinking maybe I should do some sponsoring or something so that another person could actually overtake here, because I'm not really super enjoying that type of work. I really love to do the podcast, but now this one, it's like I'm always doing the same thing, and I think it would be really a cool task for assistant or something. This is not okay. Let's put it like this. 220. I mean, what a process, right? Manual process. And the best tool, like Paint, is the best tool for it. 12, something like that. Oh, we are almost there. Let's see if I manage to do it. I'm trying to make it square. I could have done it with a different tool and it would be already there. I don't know why. I think it's also because you're watching me that I'm really nervous now what I'm doing. So, I'm just cropping it and then I will crop it more. So, 388. Now we are almost there. There we go. I mean, it's not super. We can still do it like this. What is this? Oh, almost, see. And now let's just do a couple. Oh, this is not good. Something like this. So, okay. Anyway. Yeah. Thanks for stopping by. So, and then we have to do something else. I actually always go to remove background, which is a really cool tool, and apparently it's from Austria, which is very cool as well. And here I'm removing the background of this image. Actually, I had already one that was very similar to this one. Let's see, look which one looks nicer. I can't tell. They're sort of the same-ish. So, okay. And then we do like a remove background thing because we have to make you will see all my tools actually today that I'm using, which these are all the tools that I'm paying for. I've never paid for a lot of software tools before actually. And now that I'm doing a podcast, I have a couple of things that I'm spending money on, which is somehow interesting because I think a lot of the tools that we're using as developers, they are sort of for free, right? Servus, Oida. Do you speak German? Taschinski? Do you have an idea what it means, Servus, Oida? Okay, and Canva is also a tool that I'm paying actually for, which is really cool. So Descript, so actually all the tools that I pay for are used for the podcast. So this seems to be a very a market, right? So people are because I think because you're spending so much time doing a podcast, it really makes sense to also spend money for it. So there must be now somewhere this one, high resolution without background, right? And then these ones are always the ones that I put on top of the website here. Something like that. And then we are going down with the opacity and then we are downloading that thing. A JPEG is better because otherwise my website gets so big that it doesn't load anymore. The most versatile word from Vienna, Oida. Yeah, it means it's actually like the old guy or something like that, but in a strong dialect. And I think it came up, I think in the 90s, late 90s, something like that. Everything was Oida. And like the older generation was very shaked by it. So, okay. So now we have this, we have like a resolution. So let's put that on where we are. There we are. Let's put that here. I couldn't really see which one is nicer. Yeah. Let's put mine is a little bit bigger, so maybe a little bit better from the resolution. In general, it's not that high resolution picture. In this episode, I talked to Diana Mounter. And she is, and I actually have that somewhere, to have like a, let's make a, Director of Design Infrastructure. Okay. Going back to Diana Mounter, Director of Design Infrastructure at GitHub. And then actually I had there should be more about her. Oh, Diana traveled the world and lived in many countries, even continents. And then let's think a little bit what we talked about. Where am I? Too many, always the same problem, Too many things open. It's really not for me. Here we are. And then let's paste this plain text. Diana traveled the world and lived in many different countries, even continents. She started as a print designer and spent some time in government before she got into web and design. Now she leads the design systems at GitHub. We talked about what design systems are. Now let's have a look at Descript, what this thing is doing. Okay, it's not doing, so I have to reload it.
Yeah, a lot of refactoring, but I think like
yeah, definitely. And I mean, one of the things that came to mind. Okay, what design systems are and why we need them. How they deal with legacy code and refactoring at GitHub. And then see, this is also why it's really cool to have like a transcript from your podcast, because now you can look at it without, that I have to read the whole thing. Let's have a look a little bit what we are talking about. This is design systems. Oh yeah, code reviews actually. We talked about code reviews, right? And yeah. She tells me about how the designer role interplays with other roles at GitHub, how and why they are doing code reviews, and then let's find the last thing that we talked about, and then that's it. Yeah, and how they strive for inclusive designs that make everyone, and I found this really cool, everyone feel like an expert. Yeah, this was actually one of the sentences that she said, like when I asked her, what are somehow somehow some of her design principles. And she said, well, one of the core goals that we have is that we want everybody to feel like an expert when they are using GitHub. And I really like that, because you know, you can have so many different goals when you make a tool. Like you can make the goal that the person is faster with their work, right? Or that they feel satisfied or something like that. But feeling like an expert, I really like that. And I think it drives a lot of decisions that you can have differently. Anyway, let's put something there. Now I'm having like a the links where we can subscribe. We have to put them here. And then I have a box where I have like the links. And then finally I have the transcript, right? Links. And then we put the links here. Diana's website, Diana's Twitter. Then let's put something about design systems at GitHub. Let me think what else would be interesting here. I don't think that I had something very specific that I have to link. So these are the links. Yeah. So let's click save here. And then what we have to do is also we have to upload our podcast here. This one. This will take a little bit. Yeah, let's close the other stuff because I'm always getting a little bit distracted if there are too many windows open. I'll close this one. I have to remember that one. So I'm not gonna close this one. Okay. And then, and then I wanted to show you something else, actually my GitHub, which is really cool. So I'm very, very thankful for the people that are helping to make the podcast more accessible. And so let's add another transcript, and it's the newest one. So somebody will be a lucky person that has like the newest one here. And it's like EP 28 Diana Mounter MD. And then we can do that here. We have to export that, just the text. Go in the right folder and then call it transcript. Diana Mounter ready. And so the really cool thing here is that really a lot of people helped now with the transcript. And so I will have better transcripts, and really like that the feeling that the podcast is really more accessible for a lot of people. Yeah. Text maker. So many different manual steps, right? Sometimes I'm thinking I should automate it. I just use this tool to have like a 80 line wrap, because otherwise on GitHub, if you want to edit it, it's really hard. So let's go here. Oh, I forgot something. Let's put it back. Actually, I have to put it back here. Oh no, it looks strange. No, it doesn't matter. And then we have to get this one and replace. As I said, too many manual steps for everything. This is why the podcast actually take me so long, because I'm thinking there are not many steps involved, but somehow there are many steps involved always. And this is only after you already edited the whole podcast, right? So it's quite something. And the more I could actually leave a lot of things away, right? I don't have to provide the transcripts, and I could not provide so much description and things like that. But somehow I think it's nice. If I can do it, I do it. So, and then we create a new issue for that one as well. Transcript episode 29 with Diana Mounter. Hello and welcome. Did the Someday Engineering Lookbot. to the Software Engineering Unlocked podcast. It seems like I have really a horrible pronunciation for automatic transcript generation tools. I'm your host, Dr. Michaela, and today I have the pleasure to talk to, let's write her name right, Diana Mounter. Oh. So, okay, we're far from ready to release the podcast, but we are getting there. But before I start, I want to update you on what's happening in my life. This is I have the 1UR workshop. Oh my god. Code review workshop for my okay, let's put it like this. Let's leave it like this for the first thing, right? And then maybe this is wrong. It saw that it's actually not me, right? Okay, there we are. So here she says something, then it's me again. So we just have to make a couple of paragraphs so that people know if they are editing and what's expected. And then send me an email at michaela@michaelakeiler.com. Okay. And this brings me to that I have to put that in the show notes as well, because I said I'm gonna have that in the show notes. Okay, so we can actually add this transcript here. Commit new file. Then we will put that here. Interested in the code review analytics tool, write me an email at michaelakeiler@michaelakeiler.com. Okay, so and now let's go back to the transcripts, because we have like some issues here, and actually a person asked me but we have to first upload that one. Okay. Let me think. So this one should be actually here. Episode 28. Let me think what we can call it. I mean, we talked a lot about design systems at GitHub and what design systems are. What else did we talk about? We can call it the central role design systems play at GitHub, right? On the central, I don't know. This is not really a catchy title. On the central role design system, or we could just say design systems play a central role at GitHub's. Design systems play. Let's have a look how I normally have my things. What do they say? How I got a job at Spotify during a pandemic. Software success through community building, from art school to Microsoft research. Why you should double down on integration testing. Okay. How design systems play a central role at GitHub. Maybe that's okay. How design systems play a central role at GitHub? It's a working title. What do you think? Good one? How design systems play. Why? Why design systems play a central role at GitHub? Let's talk about design systems. Or just design systems. Well, if I listen to this episode, what would I like to know about it, right? That they will experience some you are blah blah blah. What does he say? Ah. Yeah, maybe we have like this, because for me the central thing from this interview that I had with her was really about how to develop a system, right? How to develop a user experience that's inclusive if you have a very diverse user base, right? Like GitHub has a very diverse user base. Like they have like open source developers, they have closed source developers, large organizations, small teams, one person shows, right? Like are also on GitHub, and people are doing very different things. Like they have like documents on GitHub, they have like code on GitHub. Some people just use it for automation, some use it for, for pull requests. And so how do you deal with this large user base and make sure that still, somehow it's not good to build a tool for everybody, but somehow you have to, right? How design systems help to build an inclusive user experience at GitHub. I like that one. How design systems help to build, help create an inclusive user experience at GitHub. I like this one. How design systems help create an inclusive user experience at GitHub. I think this is really what this interview was about. I think that's a very good reflection of it. I'm happy that I found this title. Okay, here unfortunately I have to go back to save, and then I'm getting a little tired. It's getting late. It's 10 here. Somehow I think I missed the day of the podcast. I'm one day too late. So how design systems help create an inclusive user experience at GitHub. I like that one. And then we can actually copy that here, save. Oh, now it's uploading or not? And then we can copy here where is it? Transcript, this should be, oh, here it is, copy for downloading. And then we can already put it here. And then let's update the picture that I had here. I made this picture from her. Okay, use this file. Then we have to think of what this was all about. Company culture, I would say. We didn't talk about hiring, actually. We talked about so many other things. Remote work, we talked about remote work. Oh, we talked about remote work. We should put that in here as well. A little bit of testing. Women in tech, and we didn't really talk about DevOps. But remote work, we have to mark that we actually talked about remote work somewhere. And then I have to put her picture here as well. It's a featured picture, this one. And then I have to, somewhere there's a disable featured thing, save. And now we have to go back in here. Okay, so let's read about this. In this episode, I talked to Diana Mounter, Director of Design Infrastructure at GitHub. Diana traveled the world and lived in many different countries, even continents. She started as a print designer and spent some time in government before she got into web and design. Now she leads the design system at GitHub. We talk about what design systems are and why we need them, how GitHub deals with legacy code and refactoring. I can remove that one. How the designer role interplays with other roles at GitHub. How and why designers do code review. And how GitHub strives for inclusive design that makes everyone feel like an expert. Yeah, let's leave the remote work out. It's enough. So, and then let's go to Diana Mounter. This one is her website. And then let's go to her Twitter. Oh, I'm getting tired. Oh, don't know if I should just go through it and finish it, or if I just give up. People, Broccolini, I think. Yeah, okay. We have her here. And then let's put one about her, one of her talks about design systems at GitHub. Why not, right? This one, okay. I think this is good. And then we have to update the whole thing on Simplecast as well. So, save. And I'm thinking if I'm ready to publish it or not.
Hello and welcome to the Software Engineering Unlocked podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Michaela, and today I have the pleasure to talk to Diana Mounter. But before I start, I wanted to update you on what's happening in my life. This Thursday, I have the last Code Review workshop for this year, where I have still a few spots left.
Okay, so it works. So let's click the publish button and see what happens. Well, let's have a preview button first. Let's look at it first before we publish it. And then let's get that. Okay, so let's edit it here again, and then we get it. So and so on. This is what we talk about. Oh, there's actually a dot here. I have to get away. Should be a comma. So, and then we put the last pieces and pits, and then we can get it out a little bit later than normally. I'm quite on time. Today I was a little bit too late. Links, Diana's website, Twitter, design system. Okay. GitHub. No, we have to give some search keywords. Design systems. Remote work. Inclusive design. CSS. HTML. Design. Oh my god, design. So, something like that, right? Oh, testing. We talked about testing and code reviews. Management. We also talked a little bit about management. So, okay. Alternative URL, that's important. And yeah, we have to publish it for this one. So, okay. Let's save. Now is the time. Let's publish it. I'm thinking if I forgot anything, but I think we just publish it. And then have a look if I forgot anything. Unfortunately, I always have to go back because I have to change the URL here. They are really strange URLs. Design systems. Inclusive user experience, GitHub. This is the URL. I mean, it's long, right? Maybe just have like design systems, GitHub as an URL. So let's click the publish button. And now let's have a look if I forgot anything. So her picture is here. How design systems help create an inclusive user experience at GitHub. And then it's here. It shows up with picture. Oh, it looks okay. And then we can grab this URL and we can put it here. Okay. Save draft. And there's actually, we have like this transcript, right, as well. I mean, this didn't work out very nicely here. Doesn't look very nice. Let's go back to GitHub. Let's close some of them. And then let's go back to GitHub. And take one of those transcripts that I just created. Yeah. And then let's put them. It's not really nice because they're not, I mean, they should be. Okay, I'm gonna do the work. This is, I'm not gonna do it like this. So we just go and make some things here. Oh, I forgot one. This one. This one. Because no, otherwise nobody can read it, right? It's just like one big blob. Then nobody can actually read it. And then I don't have to do it anyway. I mean, why provide a transcript if it's not readable? So we have to do at least this bit. There are anyway some problems with this transcript. Okay. And then we really click the publish button, right? At one point we have to do it. When I hear, that's really cool, you're talking a lot about factoring, and when I hear, this is definitely not her, right? This is me. I'm talking here. And when I hear, I'm thinking about test. Probably that. When I hear that, I'm thinking about tests. Okay. And then let me see. Then she talks, and then it's me again, and then she talks. Me again, she talks. So, I'm really tired. I'm really getting tired. It's very late. We have to now finish that. Commit changes. Okay. So now we can take the transcript. And copy paste it there to provide the transcript for accessibility. I think it's really important. Okay. Transcript. Add transcript. There we go. Okay, sounds good. Bye. Save. Okay, now we click the publish button. I think we are done. How design systems, because now it's going out to all of the podcast things. So the website is not that important because people really have to look at the website and it's not that frequently visited. But this one now is important because this automatically publishes to all the different things, right? But it looks good. I think one of the most important things is that it has the right custom episode links, and this is correct. And so, yeah, we can click the publish. Where is it? Schedule or publish now. Let's go out. It's done. And so that's cool. And so now we can actually, there was actually a person asking me if they can help with one of the transcripts. So now we can actually ask them if they want to take on this new one. And then I think this is the last thing that I'm doing. So there we have like the thing, and then there was like a issue, and the person asked me if they can help with one of the transcripts. So let's say, hey, that would be wonderful. I just published a new episode, so if you want to deep dive into a brand new episode, 29 could be yours. Let me know. No, thanks. Let me know if you want to work on this. Thanks. So. Okay. That's it. I think it's published. It's there. Should have gotten an email, I think. Let's have a look. Telling me that it's published. Your episode 28, How Design Systems Help Create an Inclusive User Experience at GitHub, has been published. Looks good. Cool. Yeah, it was a little bit different stream today. Mainly because, yeah, I worked, the time that I had today, I worked on the tool instead of the podcast. And so now I was a little bit behind with the podcast, but I'm happy that it's now released. Yeah, I have to update Twitter and tell the world. Maybe we can do that together. The last thing that we can do is tweet about this one. And then I think that's it. Yeah, you liked it? Yeah, there are many tools actually and many things. I don't know. It's probably because I wasn't aware of podcasting before, that there are so many things that are actually involved. And a lot of manual steps still that are happening, which I think is unusual for other things that I worked on. Like, yeah, like you have to update the website, but then you have like this hosting platform. And then if you want to have the transcripts, there are a couple of things that you have to do. And so, yeah, and actually what I normally do, today was no time, I'm using another app to create some segments from the audio that gives some preview. If you have seen my my Twitter stream for the podcast, it's SE_unlocked. Then you will see that if I'm tweeting about the episode, sometimes I have like a little video or something. Or there was actually a question. When I get up in the morning, I haven't seen that until now, sorry. Between 6 and 6:30, something like that. Sometimes the kids are earlier, but now that they're a little bit older, like they are now 3 and 5, they sleep after 6:10, something like that, 6:30, something like that, and then we have to get ready for kindergarten. In the newest, in this episode, I talk to, in today's episode, I talked to, and then now it was Procolini, I think, right? I don't know how to write her. Procolini. Yeah. Oh yeah, there she is. Procolini. And what was she? She was like who leads design systems at GitHub about, and let's think about inclusive design. So we have to find, I'm always putting those things here, like small emojis. I don't know what's a good bust in silhouettes. I don't know what that means. Family. Why not family? No, I don't know. I don't know. Maybe just the heart. Inclusive designs. About inclusive designs. Making everyone feel like an expert. A palm tree. Remote work. And then let's have like, I don't know. I'm really tired. I have just to make this, I finished this. Engineering practices at GitHub. In today's episode, I talked to Procolini, who leads design systems at GitHub, about inclusive design, how to make everybody feel like an expert. The managing roles, managing remote teams, because I thought this is really interesting, right? How to manage. I worked as an IC remotely, but I never worked like a manager remote, and so this was an interesting insight. So managing remote teams and engineering practices at GitHub, and then we have to provide the link, and then I'm really done. My biggest problem is I can never stop. I'm done like half an hour ago. I was already done. But yeah. But now I'm really done. After this, I'm done. So, and you see also that my process gets really slow. That's why it's better to go to sleep and then do things freshly than like with this overtired mind. Oh, there's a picture of me. I don't want that. Oh, because it's the big URL. I want her picture. That's what I want. So I have to click here. There shouldn't be a picture of me. So this looks good. Today's episode I talked to Anne, so this is good, yeah. So, yeah, okay. I think that's it. Today's episode I talked to Pro, who leads the design system at GitHub. To make everybody feel like an expert managing remote teams and engineering practices at GitHub. Such as testing, code reviews, and design reviews. This was also interesting. Code and design reviews. Okay. There we go. Now we are done. So, well, that's it. Thank you so much. I need a continuous publishing pipeline. I actually exactly thought about that. I thought about this for, I think there must be so many professions that have that. And this is probably, podcasting is the first time that I'm a little bit outside of our engineering world. And I feel like there's so much painful manual labor still. And this would be really cool, yeah, to automate that. Maybe I should spend some time doing that. But yeah, like there are so many different tools, right? So you could, for example, I have like WordPress, other people have different other stuff, but maybe do it for one pipeline that works well, right? So like have a tool chain of things, and then there are like, for example, this the tool that I use for doing these little videos. There's an AI part of it, and so it grabs, and I enabled it at one point, right? So it grabs your episode and then it creates a little I'm gonna show you what I normally do, right? So for example, I create those videos. Let's see, this one, right? So if you click on it, and
It really, Kunal made a huge difference in my onboarding experience because he had one-on-ones with me every single.
So I do that for the episodes as well, right? But it takes me another at least half an hour to do them. And so this tool actually has the ability to create them automatically. And so I thought, well, this is amazing, right? And so I enabled it. And the first video that I got, I was really happy because I was like, well, I didn't do the work, and I know the painful 30, 45 minutes, right? To have this really good piece of the trailer, or passed off snippet or something. And so I was quite happy because it just came to my inbox and it was there, and I thought, well, I'm gonna post it. But then I listened to the part, and it just extracted any part. I mean, I don't know exactly how the algorithms behind does it, but the piece that it picked wasn't really good. Like I wouldn't have picked it, so it wasn't really interesting. The picture wasn't really nice, right? So there's like this automated process, and there was no transcript, there was no text, right? And so in the end I disabled it again because, well, now I'm getting those things sent, and yeah, I'm not spending time, which is nice, but on the other hand, the process isn't, or the automation isn't so good that I can actually use them, right? So I think it takes so much time because it takes me time to really find a good piece that's very interesting. Like you've seen for the title, right? It took me probably, and today was quite quick, quite some time to find the title that I actually think represents the episode. And the same here, if I want to make a snippet, it takes quite some time to find something that's really representative, which I think can stand on its own and is interesting. And then having the text there and being synchronized with what she says and things like that, it's just something that, yeah, I think we have like a lot of room still for improvement. Maybe this will, maybe one day I have an idea and I will make a cool SaaS business out of it. I don't know, or you have. Anyway, so I'm really stopping the stream now. Thank you so much for tuning in today, and I will be streaming again tomorrow about the tool, probably not as long as today. And yeah, have a good night. I'm gonna sleep now, and see you. Bye bye.